Jason Westbury had one job. As CEO of the Australian Federation of Travel Agents, he was supposed to help them navigate the devastating effects of this COVID-19 pandemic and somehow address the scathing criticism from customers who now couldn't travel and couldn't get refunds. Instead, he chose to shoot the messenger in a disturbing personal attack on me. Tonight, he's the ex-CEO after a day of high drama. Before it became obvious late today that his position was untenable, he spoke to Brady Halls.
I think that Tracy Grimshaw needs to be given a firm uppercut or a good slap across the face.
This is no game show, but you're looking at a man in the hot seat.
That's you.
A business leader with a potty mouth.
I think that Tracy Grimshaw needs to be given a firm uppercut or a good slap across the face.
No one in 2020 should speak about anybody like that, particularly a man about a woman. We have enough problems with domestic violence in this country.
I think the situation that we're in is there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of frustration.
Jason Westbury is the chief executive of the industry body for travel agents across this country.
There is a lot of cranky travel agents out there because of the way in which...
And CEOs.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all cranky.
Who needs to reassess his language about violence and women.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
The travel industry is in turmoil.
Like, that's my money.
Unless somebody stands up to them, they'll get away with it.
And they haven't liked us for airing your grievances.
And they've said, look, unfortunately our terms and conditions have changed.
There's been some terrible comments about us, and we're just reporting what your customers are telling us.
Yeah, look, I understand that you are, bringing forward a point of view from some disgruntled customers. But I think the thing that perhaps hasn't been told is the many thousands of very happy customers.
Not only the travel agencies are angry with us, but you are too. Can I just play you this?
I think that Tracy Grimshaw needs to be given a firm uppercut or a good slap across the face. And I mean that virtually, of course. I wouldn't want to invoke any violence on anyone.
The secret recording he didn't know we had.
I unreservedly apologise for that statement. It was a bad choice of words by me. It was at a heightened time. There was a lot of member disgruntlement. I have extended my apologies to Ms Grimshaw directly through a note that I've written to her that she'll receive in the mail. I can do no more than apologise for those comments, unreservedly.
Well, she hasn't received that. You tell me that you're writing a letter to her.
I've sent her a card, yeah.
You sent her a card. You know...
I mean, I don't have direct access to her. I don't have her...
You could ring.
I don't have her... I mean, I could ring the station, you mean?
You could. But at the end of the day, that's something that you should never have gone out. How many people received that? You did that on your social media site.
It was a closed webinar for members, yeah.
Clearly not that closed.
Well, it was a closed members webinar.
How many people do you think would have heard that?
I have 100 or so.
These sorts of comments don't help the situation, do they?
It was supposed to be an interview for you, our viewers, about why you're not getting travel refunds.
They can't get answers from their travel agents. They come to us so that we can come here. And to your credit, you've sat down on that chair this morning and you've spoken to us. But we're still not getting the answers, are we?
Well, I think I'm providing you with a good example of the reason why the refund process is complicated. It's not as easy as someone says, I don't want to go, I want my money back. Unfortunately, the system isn't designed to work that way.
Look, we know the industry, the travel industry, has taken a severe hit. ACA's done many stories on that about closed stores, job losses. But we've been inundated by our viewers, your customers, saying they just can't get refunds.
Right. The money that's been paid has moved all around the world. And in 99% of the cases, the money is sitting with the supplier. And so if someone's booked a ticket, say an air ticket with an airline that's domiciled in, say, the United Arab Emirates or somewhere else in the world, the process of getting the money back out of them takes time, number one. Number two, The ecosystem, the systems that are designed aren't designed to work in reverse. And of course, these companies themselves are suffering a cash crisis. Ultimately, I think the key thing is either for people to be able to get their money back or potentially go on their trip. Now, if they're going to go on their trip, the companies have to stay in business, but the travel agents don't have the money. The money is sitting with the suppliers.
They're getting the money back and they are not refunding it.
You say 99%. Is that actually correct?
Well, absolutely. If the travel agent has the money, they will be giving it back to the consumer. I can guarantee that. 100% ironclad. And if there are examples where travel agents haven't returned the money and they have it, and there is evidence to suggest that they have it, then of course they should take that up, either with us at the Federation or with the Australian government.
I went by myself and contacted the hotels, and they told me that they had given a full refund and that it was up to them to give it back to me.
Travel agents won't talk to us. We've tried, and I've got to say, some of their comments to us are quite vile and they're quite angry to us. We're trying to get both sides of the story. We always have.
I understand that there's frustration around, both from consumers and, I can assure you, from the travel agency community. I think the fact that the travel agents feel that in some cases they've been made out to be the demons in this is the thing that everybody's most frustrated about.
And this bitchy boss was letting fly to travel agents behind our backs a few days ago, not knowing we had a copy of his vile rant for today's interview.
There's been further pretty ordinary ACA stories going on about members of AFTA. Look, as far as I'm concerned, no one's guilty of anything.
That sort of language doesn't help, particularly from a CEO, particularly from a boss.
I think that Tracy Grimshaw needs to be given a firm uppercut or a good slap across the face.
Why did you say that about Tracy?
As I said, I've apologised for those statements.
You've said that, and we will certainly air that. But why did you say that? That was an awful comment from a man about a woman.
It was said as I said, I've said what I'm going to say about that.
Really?
Well, yeah, I've apologised.
There was much more that you said as well about a current affair. I'll cop that on the chin.
Well, in terms of a current affair, I'm just a person trying to represent an industry. You're a program.
You're a chief. No chief should talk like that. No person should talk like that. But you represent people. You represent customers. You represent a lot of agents right around this country.
And as I've said, I've apologised for the statement. There's an apology on the record being sent.
And you regret it. You regret what you said.
I regret what I said, yes. Of course I regret what I said. And of course I've extended my unreserved apology for those statements. Absolutely, categorically.
I think the best thing to do for a current affair is just to stop watching. That way you'll stop worrying. I've personally boycotted it. Won't be ever watching it again.
Will you be watching tonight?
Is this being aired tonight?
Yes.
I will be watching a current affair tonight.
That'll be a first.
Well, it'll be a first for this week.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course, Jason Westbury has since resigned, but just in case there's any confusion, I think we owe you some more background on that interview from this morning. It had been booked before we found out about his comments to the members' webinar about me. It was never a hostile exercise. The travel industry is clearly one of the biggest victims of this pandemic. We know travel agents are hurting. And while I've no doubt many individual operators are doing their best in terrible circumstances, industry-wide it's handled the fallout badly. Unfair cancellation fees, refusals to offer refunds, unreasonable delays to refunds and a failure to explain to customers why. Far from being unwilling to hear the agent's point of view, as Westbury had implied to his members, we wanted to get the members' perspective. That's all the interview was supposed to be this morning, their right of reply. Jason Westbury's language was appalling, and he's paid the price for it. But his members deserved better representation, and the board obviously came to the same conclusion today.